Welcome to the Knowledge Stream. Today we are going to talk about India's spice story. Spice has played a very important role in our history. From time immemorial, India has been called the land of spices. No country in the world produces as many kinds of spices as India. The origin of India's spice trade dates back to 7,000 years ago. Spices from India were originally transported overland by caravans. Initially, the Arabs dominated the spice trade. The Europeans came much later and discovered the sea routes to India. Spices have resulted in some of the greatest adventures in human history, including those of Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama. Join us in our spice exploration. Do you know one of the spiciest chilies in the world, Bhut Jolokia, also known as ghost pepper, originated in Assam's Tejpur district and is now grown across northeastern India. On the Scoville scale, which is the measure of a chili's hotness, it exceeds 1 million Scoville heat units. Now, let's learn about spicing up history. Spice and rock art. Bhimbetka has a rather fascinating story about how its rock art was created. The shaman artists used to make scenes such as hunting scenes with the belief that what they draw will come true. To get vision of these images, they smoked a mixture of ginger, fennel, cinnamon, raisins and some leaves. Ancient remedies. Yajurveda mentions the use of sesame and long pepper to add pungency to food. The Atharva Veda mentions turmeric for the treatment of jaundice. The earliest Sanskrit medical treatises, Charak Samhita and Sushrita Samhita, listed and described around 700 plants with medicinal properties. Sushrita was also known to use aromatic plants such as white mustard to ward off evil. He also used to apply a poultice made of sesame on post-operative wounds. Spice trades. The Assyrians and Babylonians between the 3rd to the 2nd century BC carried on trade in cardamom and cinnamon with Malabar coast. The spices then reached Greece, Rome and Egypt and were used to make holy oils for anointing the dead. To ensure access to these trade routes to India, Romans fought the Parthian Wars too. Harappan discovery. Even as early as the Harappan period, spices found their way from the south to the Indus Valley. Harappa had micro-miniatured sizes of weighing scales for weighing rare spices. Even in recent Harappan excavations in Haryana, dental remains of humans have ginger and turmeric stains. Spice journeys. Spice route. The traders brought spices from across ancient land routes to the Hindu Kush, and from here it joined the Silk route at Bactria. In the travelogue of Huan Tsang, the famous Chinese traveler, scholar and monk, we find a mention of trade routes between India and Balkh in the 7th century CE, which transported spices, silk and ivory. According to a legend, Vasco da Gama once asked the Zamorin of Calicut if he could take away a pepper stock for replanting. The Zamorin replied, "You can take our pepper, but you will never be able to take our rains," because he knew the monsoon cycle was the key. Now, let's listen to some spice sagas. The sacred spice. Valmiki's Ramayana mentions how turmeric was used at different occasions. Goddess Gauri was worshipped with turmeric. The Krishna Avatar legend states the use of turmeric as a body ointment. It also mentions Draupadi being smeared with a turmeric paste before her royal bath for the Swayamvar. The saffron reward. According to a Kashmiri legend, Vaghabhatta, the Ayurvedic physician of the 6th century CE, was visited by the Naga king Takshaka, who suffered from an eye disease. Vaghabhatta applied a unique method to treat the disease and succeeded. As a reward, he received saffron bulbs from the Naga king, which he planted in Pampore. Today, Pampore is known as the saffron center of Kashmir. What's in a name? Kollam, the oldest port city of the Malabar coast in Kerala, derives its name from the Sanskrit name of pepper. The Portuguese, Dutch and British visited Kollam for pepper trade. Saga of Muziris. Around 2000 years ago, after Kerala became an established center on the spice route, Muziris was one of the most important trading posts in India. According to Sangam literature, Roman ships came to Muziris laden with gold to be exchanged with black pepper. It was called the first emporium of India by the Roman author Pliny in his Natural History. Cinnamon nest. According to Herodotus, in the history, enormous birds carried cinnamon sticks from a land unknown to construct their nests atop a high mountain, which was unconquerable by any human. To obtain cinnamon, the Arabs employed a trick where they left the meat of oxen near the nest. The birds would take the heavy meat pieces to their nests, but due to their weight, the nests could break and fall. The Arabs then collected the fallen cinnamon sticks. Did you know? According to an account by the Arabic writer Ibrahim ibn Wasif Shah, there is a valley of cloves near India reached by no merchants or sailors. The clove was sold by genies. Let's get in detail about some spices. Number 1. Pepper, the king of spices. Pepper are obtained from the seed part of the plant. Pepper is also known as the sacred spice, as the Mahabharata mentions feasts seasoned with pepper. Brahmins avoided the intake of red chillies on the day of offerings for forefathers. They instead used only pepper. In the Middle Ages, peppercorns were used to buy goods. It was used as a currency to pay taxes and rents too. The term as dear as pepper thus described anything that was very expensive. Black pepper's main culinary function is as a preservative. It also has anti-inflammatory, antioxidant and antibacterial properties. Black pepper is beneficial in improving digestion too. Number 2. Cardamom, the queen of spices. Cardamom is obtained from the seed part of the plant. In Kerala, it is believed that if a woman does not touch the flowers of cardamom, they might not form seeds. That is why, as part of the harvesting process, women touch every flower of over a period of 40 days. Cardamom Hills. The Cardamom Hills are part of the Western Ghats, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Although cardamom is the primary spice, pepper and coffee are also grown. Cardamom in history. Varamhira, a renowned scholar from the Gupta period, in his classic Brihad Samhita, recommends that cardamom pounded into a fine powder mixed with equal quantities of musk and camphor can be used as a wonderful perfume for clothes. The European traders took it from India to sell it in Europe for perfumes and beverages. Number 3. Aromatic cinnamon. Cinnamon is obtained from the bark part of the plant. When used in food, cinnamon slows down food spoilage, which makes it a natural food preservative, especially for meats. This is why it was so much in demand in Europe in the earlier days. In India, even though it grew in the south, it was the Mughals who started using this spice in food items. It is believed that to sanctify an area, cinnamon should be burnt as its fumes are supposed to have healing properties. Number 4. Turmeric, the golden spice. In eastern India, turmeric plant is used in the Nabhapatrika rituals of Durga Puja. It represents goddess Durga. It is used in temples with vermilion to stimulate the charka between the eyebrows. Turmeric mixed with besan is used to bath infants. It is also used for the bathing rituals in wedding ceremonies such as Nalugu in Telugu. Why is turmeric holy? Lord Vishnu once took shelter under a leafy patch of wild turmeric. The turmeric leaves closed gently over him, saving his life. He then blessed turmeric that it shall be honored at all ceremonies and auspicious events. Turmeric water is offered to the gods in the temple as a part of Hindu ritual called Abhishekam. Number 5. The royal saffron. According to a tale, Emperor Akbar loved the smell of saffron so much that the windows of the bath houses in his palaces overlooked saffron fields. On the other hand, Jahangir had an interesting relationship with the spice. He got a headache the first time he came across saffron fields, but he still encouraged its cultivation. The uses of saffron. Saffron is used to season and color food. It relieves cold and coughs, stomach issues, insomnia, and even heart trouble. Being rich in manganese, it helps regulate blood, sugar, and aids the formation of bones. It also contains vitamin C that fights infections and aids iron absorption. Next, we have farm to market. Ancient Muttoncherry market. The spice market at Muttoncherry is a vibrant example of spice trade in Kerala. What was once the biggest spice market in the continent, Muttoncherry still has old spice warehouses lining the streets. It was a bustling trade center for ginger, pepper, and turmeric. In the past, it was a hub for Jewish and Gujarati spice traders who dominated the market. Asia's biggest market. Khadiboli in Delhi is a spice lover's delight with a huge variety of local and exotic spices. Khadiboli translates a salty stepwell, and the market has been in existence since the 17th century. A spicy flight. SpiceJet airlines have aircrafts named after different Indian spices. The aircrafts are called turmeric, hing, elaichi, clove, and more. Thank you. Please subscribe to the Knowledge Stream for more informative videos.